As the recession grows deeper, some companies have to sell off their divisions. It's 2012, and Jack O'Donnell creates InMusic Brands, putting all the companies under one umbrella, a consortium. He also buys Air Software and M Audio from Avid Technologies, creating one total brand for music and recording. It's a smart move. It will help the InMusic brands to control proprietary software that can be then used on products like AKAI's MPCs. In that same year, AKAI released the MPC Renaissance, a brand new MPC. Also a smaller version, the MPC Studio, and the MPC Fly. But Native Instruments released Maschine Mach 2, a brand new machine. It's shiny and colorful. It looks really good, and it's selling. They also released the Maschine Micro Mach 2 as well, and this looks the same. Shiny colors, and it's selling. Then in 2016, Akai releases the MPC Touch at the NAMM show.
Dan, product manager for Akai, and I'm here to show you a sneak peek of MPC 2.0, which will be coming later this year. It features full audio track recording. You're able to record 128 tracks of audio. So I could show you the waveform here on the screen. Switch to different tracks. And also we'll be featuring real-time time stretch and real-time pitch changing. So for an example, if I go to a new sequence here, if I want to play some loops here, these are going to be quantized onto the measure. So now I can adjust the pitch and adjust the tempo of these without affecting the length. So, for instance,
as you can see, this is the beginning of what we see today in the Akai MPC platform. They're starting to make 128 tracks. They're going to use time stretching and, of course, warping also at the same time. This is going to improve the platform totally as it starts to get ready to go to standalone.
Let's make it 2 bars.
And you can see here as Andy demonstrates it for Sonic State videos.
I'm just going to drop my kicks in here.
It looks the same as it does now. They're getting there, and they're almost there. They're ready for a standalone. The demonstration shows you exactly what we do today. And you can see in this demo, they're actually just doing what we do today. He went from step sequencer, now he's in grid mode. Now they're here in grid mode. When they get here, they want to move some sounds around. Taps a minute actually in grid mode. You can change the quantized value. You say, what we're going to do back here, we're going to leave it off and just pick a note and move it anywhere in the grid without it quantizing, giving a different feel to it. This helps you a lot when working with an MPC because you can see it right there in front of you. Now, the beauty of this screen here is that you can see it's a touch screen, but it's very sensitive, which is really great. This is like really something that's actually awesome for Akai to compete with Maschine on. Because Maschine doesn't have this kind of really great touch screen display. But here you can see they're developing it and they're starting to get the idea. And no doubt, I do believe they've already had the idea done. They're just testing it out to make sure that they're ready to go. And by making sure they have the MPC Touch out, it's starting them to get the feel of it. They want to see what customers are going to say. And eventually, the war is back on. Now, as you can see here in this demonstration, he's pinching and zooming in on the sample. And the sample's creating these chops right there. So this is back in 2016. This is before the release of the MPC Live and the MPCX. And before they come out, they got to write the code. What's going on here is that it actually works in the computer, which is great, and they're testing back and forth to make sure it works as a solid controller. So this is an important step in creating the next standalone. Next, they have to go to the code writers and take the same code and crunch it down to a small enough size that still works on a standalone. And this is going to be pretty hard to do, but they've got plenty of proprietary software with the acquisitions they've made and the ability to put them all together to come out with a brand new MPC standalone, which is what they need to do to compete with Maschine. Maschine owns the computer world. They need to have both of these worlds going together along with a lot of the other softwares they own to create this awesome new product. The MPC standalone is coming back. Now this is our MPC Touch right here, and it looks like it's an MPC Live, right? You can see the pads are right there. It's a pretty simple layout, just like the Live. They're just testing out to get it straight. It's amazing how it looks similar, such a similar looking product, but it's the same thing. We got no repeat there, of course. We got A through E there, right? We got A and it becomes A or E rather. Then the next button here is also full level, of course, and that could be B or F. And then the next button right here is going to be what? We've got 16 levels, the classic 16 levels, and this button could be C or G. And then there's one more button right there, and that's erase, which could be D or H. So it looks the same, right? And so as you can see here, the platform, that touchscreen is really cool because when it first came out, I was in love with it when it first came out. And then, of course, they've got less mode buttons here, right? It's just shift, menu, main, undo, copy. So you have to actually go into the platform and do it. It says here also tap, and then we got record, overdub, stop, play, play, start, and of course our plus and minus. Now the Q link is all the way on the right-hand side this time. They keep moving things around, but I guess it's important inside the machine. You can see Q links on top, the Q link switches between the 4 different Q link settings, and then we have the 4 different Q link buttons also as well. And the big button down here is our master button right there that we can use, or master knob rather, we can use to just turn to any sort of data or sequence if we need to. You'll see it there. Now the back of it's very simple. We got our power on, which is pretty simple to do, right? Push it on, we're starting to play. And of course, we can put our power cable right there next to it. Then we also have a USB input for our computer system. So we must use the software on the computer to make this thing work. Now next to that, we have our record level. That's right, we can take in recordings right here. You can see I have a recording in, 1 and 2, or left and right. And then we have sending out the output, which is through 1 and 2, not recording in. So we have 2 in, 2 out. Next to that, we have our headphone jack, and we got our own master control for the headphone jack, which is always necessary. Then we have MIDI out and MIDI in. It's a very cool system. It's an easy way to work it too. I like it a whole lot compared to what it was before in the years before this. Now let's look at the specs right here. The specs are simple and to the point, but they have improved it a whole lot than what it used to be. We got 128 voices for polyphony. We have audio tracks at 128 also as well. The sampler is 16-bit at 44.1 kilohertz, and it's in stereo. Dynamic filtering, 1-state variable filter per voice. And we have memory, which is your computer memory, which is very cool. That means you have a lot of memory. Also, we have drum pads and banks. We have 8 banks now. And, of course, the classic 16 soft pads from AKAI. And of course, our arpeggio and our sequencer data is going to be 20 songs, 250 steps, 99 sequences, 99 tracks, 100,000 note capacity, real-time time stretch. We have that 7-inch display. You can work with anything with this. It's kind of cool. It's a great machine. If you're going to buy it used, get it today.